All right, so today we're taking a little bit of a different route for our deep dive.
Oh,
Yeah, a listener wrote in, and they're getting ready for a road trip,
okay.
and they want to brush up on their travel English.
I see.
But, they're not just looking for, like, basic phrases. They want to sound more like a native speaker.
Ah, that's interesting.
Yeah, they want to capture those little nuances and just sound more natural and fluent.
So are we going to be like language coaches today?
But I think we have the perfect source material for this.
Okay.
It's this episode from a YouTube English learning podcast.
Okay.
And they focus on what they call fluency builders.
Fluency builders.
Yeah, it's like taking those phrases that we already know and giving them a little upgrade
Okay.
to sound more authentic.
I like that.
Yeah, so let's jump right in.
Okay.
One of the examples they give is, imagine you're all packed up for your road trip and you're ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of saying, "Are we ready to go?" They suggest using, "Are we all ready to go?"
Oh, that's a good one.
Right. It seems like such a small change, but I think it has a big impact.
Yeah, I think adding that all L, it kind of emphasizes that, we're all in this together. It's a group experience,
Exactly. Like we're all excited and we're all ready to hit the road as a team.
Exactly.
Okay, here's another one. I love this one.
Okay.
So instead of saying, "It is ready," which can sound a little formal.
Yeah, a little stiff.
Yeah, they suggest using, "It's all set."
Mm-hmm.
It's all set.
Yeah, that does sound a lot smoother.
Right. It just rolls off the tongue and it sounds more casual and confident.
It's like you're saying, everything's taken care of, we're good to go.
I like how it projects that sense of competence. Like you've got everything under control.
Yeah, like you're a seasoned traveler.
Exactly. Which is especially useful, I think, when you're traveling. You want to feel prepared.
For sure. For sure.
And what I found really interesting is that they emphasize that these fluency builders can be applied to lots of situations, not just road trips.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, for example, instead of saying, "Let's go," you could say, "Let's get going." It has a similar effect, right?
Yeah, it kind of adds a little more energy to it.
Yeah. Like you're not just suggesting it. You're actually initiating the action.
It's like you're saying, come on, let's do this.
Exactly. So it's like you're taking charge and setting things in motion.
That's a good one. I like that.
So these are just a couple of examples. And I think what's so cool is how these little tweaks can have such a big impact on how our English sounds.
Yeah, it's like you're adding a little spice to your language.
Exactly. It's like that secret ingredient that makes all the difference.
I love that.
Okay, so now they also get into some idiomatic expressions
Oh.
that are really useful for road trip conversations.
All right, like what?
Well, one that stood out to me was, "We've got all our bases covered."
Ah, yes. That's a classic.
What do you think about that one?
Well, it's a great way to express that, you're prepared for anything.
Yeah.
Like you've thought of everything.
It conveys that sense of confidence and thoroughness, which I think is really reassuring when you're traveling because you never know what might happen.
Right. You want to be prepared for the unexpected.
Exactly. Like imagine you're on a road trip and somebody asks, "Did you pack everything?" Instead of just saying yes, you can say, "We've got all our bases covered."
Yeah, that sounds much more impressive.
Right.
Like you're a pro.
And they give some good examples of how to use it in different situations.
Like what?
Well, like if you're planning the road trip, you could say, "We've got all our bases covered. We have a map, a full tank of gas, snacks, and a playlist that'll last the whole trip."
Ooh, I like that.
Right.
It's like you're saying, bring on the open road. We're ready for anything.
Exactly.
So these idiomatic expressions, they really add a lot of color to your language.
I think so too.
And they help you sound more like a native speaker.
Yeah, it's like you're speaking their language on a deeper level.
Exactly. You're not just using the right words. You're understanding the culture behind them.
And that's what makes communication so powerful.
Absolutely.
So for our listener who's getting ready for their road trip, embracing these fluency builders and idiomatic expressions is like giving their travel English a turbo boost.
Yeah, they'll not only be understood, but they'll also impress everyone with their natural and confident communication style.
It's like taking their English to the next level
Exactly.
and really owning the language.
I love that.
So we've covered a lot of ground in this first part of our deep dive.
We have.
And I think we've already given our listeners some valuable tools.
Definitely.
But there's so much more to explore.
Oh, there is.
Yeah, in the next part, we're going to delve even deeper into the nuances of fluency.
I'm excited to see what else they have to offer.
Well, you do.
This is fun.
I know, right?
Okay, so let's take a quick break and we'll be right back with more fluency boosting tips.
Sounds good.
You know what's really cool about these fluency builders?
What's that?
You don't have to learn a ton of new words.
Right.
It's more about just like tweaking what you already know
Okay.
to make it sound more natural. Right.
like a native speaker.
Oh, it's like you're already working with the raw materials. You just got to refine them a bit.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
like taking those basic building blocks
Yeah.
and arranging them in a way that's more sophisticated, more stylish.
So it's not just about the words themselves. It's
Yes.
about understanding how they fit together.
The rhythm, the flow.
Yeah, like how native speakers actually use them in conversation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And sometimes those little changes, they're so subtle
Right.
that native speakers, they might not even notice them consciously,
Oh, interesting.
but they'll definitely feel the impact.
Yeah, like it just sounds right.
Exactly. It's like you're speaking their language on a deeper level.
You're in the club,
Yes, you're part of the in-group.
and you're not just trying to be understood. You're actually trying to connect.
Absolutely. It's about communicating effectively
Mm-hmm.
and building rapport.
Okay, so let's go back to that example of are we ready to go?
Okay.
They talk about how native speakers often emphasize the word all L.
To give it that extra oomph.
It's like you're saying, hey, we're all in this together. Let's go have some fun.
Yeah, it's like a shared excitement,
Exactly. It creates a sense of camaraderie.
like a team spirit.
Exactly.
And I think that's so important when you're on a road trip, right?
Absolutely. You're all in it together.
Yeah, you got to have that sense of
It's
unity.
the shared adventure.
And what's really cool is that you can apply this to other phrases too.
Oh, like what?
Like instead of saying, let's eat,
Yeah.
you could say, let's all eat.
Oh, I like that.
Right.
It just makes it more inviting.
More inclusive.
Yeah, like you're saying, come on, everyone, let's enjoy this meal together.
And it's those little things, those subtle cues that really make your English sound more natural,
Authentic.
more engaging.
It's like you're adding a little flavor.
Yeah, a little personality.
A little bit of you.
So I think the key takeaway here,
What is it?
listen to how native speakers actually talk.
Yeah.
Pay attention to those little details, those
Wow.
southern nuances.
The rhythm, the intonation.
Exactly. And try to incorporate them into your own speech.
It's like you're becoming a detective.
Ooh, I like that.
You're observing, you're analyzing.
You're figuring out the code.
Exactly. And the more you listen and the more you practice,
Mm-hmm.
the more natural it will become.
So it's not just about memorizing a bunch of rules.
Right.
It's about developing an ear for the language.
And a feel for it.
And that takes time and practice.
It does, but it's so rewarding.
And you know what else I found really interesting?
What's that?
They talk about the importance of embracing mistakes.
Oh, yeah, that's so important.
Because I think a lot of language learners are so afraid of making mistakes.
They are. They get so self-conscious.
But making mistakes is part of the process.
Absolutely. It's how we learn.
It's like learning to ride a bike.
Exactly.
You're going to fall a few times before you get the hang of it.
And that's okay.
Yeah, you got to get back up and keep trying.
And eventually, you'll be riding smoothly.
So don't let the fear of making mistakes hold you back.
It's a natural part of the journey.
And you know what else they emphasize?
What's that?
Finding a supportive environment for language practice.
Oh, that's so important.
Yeah, because surrounding yourself with people who encourage you and who are patient can make a huge difference.
It can boost your confidence.
It can help you stay motivated.
It can make the whole process more enjoyable.
It's like having a cheering section.
Exactly.
And those cheers can really help you push through those tough moments.
Those moments of doubt.
And I think that's so important in language learning because it can be challenging,
It can be frustrating.
but it's also incredibly rewarding.
And fun.
So find those people who will support you on your journey,
Your language buddies.
your cheerleaders,
Your fellow travelers.
and celebrate those small victories along the way.
Because every step forward is an accomplishment.
Whether it's mastering a new grammar rule or using a new phrase in a conversation,
Or just feeling more confident in your ability to communicate.
it's all worth celebrating,
Absolutely. It's about recognizing your progress.
no matter how small it may seem,
It's about acknowledging how far you've come.
and using that momentum to keep moving forward.
And you know what else I love about this podcast?
That's that.
They don't just focus on the language.
Oh, yeah.
They also give some really practical tips for planning a road trip.
Like what kind of tips?
Well, for example, they talk about the importance of being prepared for the unexpected.
Yeah, that's crucial.
Because you never know what might happen on a road trip.
Flat tire, wrong turn, sudden craving for ice cream.
Exactly. So they recommend packing a well-stocked emergency kit,
With all the essentials,
flashlight, first aid kit, extra water,
just in case.
because you never know.
And they also talk about the importance of planning your route,
Yeah.
but also being flexible.
Right, because sometimes the best adventures happen when you go off the beaten path.
Exactly. That's the beauty of a road trip.
You never know what you might discover.
And having those language skills can really enhance those experiences.
Absolutely. You can connect with locals, you can learn about the culture,
You can really immerse yourself in the journey.
and create some amazing memories.
It's like they're saying, Here are the tools. Now go out there and explore.
And have fun.
I love that message.
You too.
It's so empowering and inspiring.
It really captures the spirit of both language learning and travel.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground in this part of our deep dive.
We have.
And I think we've given our listener a lot to think about.
Definitely.
But we're not done yet.
Oh, there's more.
In the next part,
Okay.
we're going to explore how this podcast encourages listeners to go beyond the classroom.
Oh, interesting.
And really embrace real-world language practice.
I'm excited to hear about that.
Me too. I think it's going to be really valuable for our listener.
Let's do it.
All right, so we're in the final stretch of our deep dive. And
yeah, the home stretch.
I got to say, I'm really enjoying this conversation about travel English.
Me too. It's fascinating how just a few little tweaks can make you sound so much more fluent.
Yeah. And you know what else I've noticed? This podcast, it's not just about like teaching grammar rules and vocabulary.
Yeah, what else is it about?
It's really about like inspiring people to embrace language learning as a way to connect with the world.
I totally agree. It's like they're giving you a key to unlock a whole new world of experiences.
Exactly. And the real magic happens when you take those language skills and you actually use them.
Out in the wild, yeah.
Yeah, in real life situations.
Like when you're on your road trip.
Yeah, whether you're ordering food at a diner or asking for directions, you know.
Chatting with the locals.
Yeah, you're putting those fluency builders to the test.
And I think those interactions, even if they're a little awkward at first, they're so valuable.
Yeah, because that's how you really learn.
That's how you solidify those skills.
It's like taking a scenic detour on your road trip, you know?
Oh, yeah, I love those.
Sometimes those unplanned moments lead to the most memorable experiences.
And that's what language learning is all about. It's an adventure.
It's a journey.
It's about embracing the unexpected.
And remember, it's not about being perfect.
It's about progress.
It's about enjoying the ride.
And this podcast, I think they do a fantastic job of creating a very supportive and inclusive environment.
Yeah, they make you feel like you're not alone on this journey.
Exactly. Like you're part of a community.
A community of language learners.
All supporting each other.
Cheering each other on.
Reminding each other that it's okay to make mistakes.
Yeah, because that's how we learn.
And I think that's such a powerful message, especially for someone who's maybe feeling a little nervous about using their English in a new environment.
Absolutely. It's like having a travel buddy who's always got your back.
Someone who's there to encourage you and help you along the way.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave our listener with one final thought.
Okay, I'm listening.
Remember that language? It's a tool for connection.
It's a way to build bridges.
To break down barriers.
To explore new cultures.
To create meaningful experiences.
It's a passport to a world of possibilities.
So pack your bags, fuel up your linguistic engine.
And hit the open road of language learning.
Happy travels.
And enjoy the